Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day everyone. Today I'm going to present my paper titled Shifting Face-to-Face Learning to Distant Learning During COVID-19 Crisis. What do students say about it? I'm Dr. Siti Nurhayati Khairatun from University Putra Malaysia, your presenter. Today's agenda, I'm going to present my paper which consists of the overview, methodology, results and discussions, limitations and recommendations, conclusion and references. Recent COVID-19 pandemic has impacted all quarters of life, with the education sector being among the hardest hit around the globe. As the quick spread of this pandemic needs a drastic measure taken by many countries, resulting in partial or total lockdown, the preparedness of crisis management is becoming arduous now. Education is no exception to this unprecedented pandemic crisis. As of now, Malaysia has implemented 5 phases of MCO, 1 phase of Conditional Movement Control Order, and currently is going through the phase of Recovery Movement Control Order. Due to the lockdown, the education system has experienced a series of unprecedented situations. For example, face-to-face classes were cancelled or postponed. Laboratories and libraries were closed. Students were forced to leave off the campus and stay home until further notice. Educators were required to continue teaching from home despite many obstacles faced, and just to name few. The main concern among education stakeholders is how effective distant learning compared to face-to-face learning during a pandemic crisis is. Thus, this paper attempts to highlight the learning experiences during the COVID-19 crisis among food service students at one public university in Malaysia. In this study, a quantitative research design was developed with a survey questionnaire characteristic. There are 7 steps of research flow. The first step, identify the population. Second, frame the samples. In step 3, the study determine unit of analysis. In step 4, develop the instrument. The collection of data happened in step 5. Then in step 6, analyze the data. In the last step, report the result. In this study, the research design used a cross-sectional online survey questionnaire where the unit of analysis was an elective course label ID 4804. The population was 167 bachelor in science of food service and management students. However, the samples usable was only 42 final year students. For the survey design, 10 questions consist of 8 multiple questions, 1 question with 7 sub-questions using Likert scales, and 1 open-ended question. WhatsApp messaging app was used as the mode of distributions for the survey questionnaire. Data analysis used descriptive and coding. Now in results and discussion parts, where the figures shows overall information of students' access to internet. Students stay at home during campus lockdown due to COVID-19 consists of 90%. 98% students access internet from their home for the online course. All students own their own smartphones. However, only 81% students own laptops, where only 60% students use postpaid data plan for internet access. This figure indicates overall students' experience of taking ID 4804. About 55% students strongly agreed that lecturer provided adequate feedback. About 60% students strongly agreed that lecturer provided timely feedback. About 60% students agreed that lecturer used multimedia such as video, audio, etc. Approximately 64% students strongly agreed that instructions for assignment were clear. 60% students strongly agreed that they had good interaction with their peers to complete the assignment. Only 45.2% students agreed they felt engaged in the online course, and half of the students out of 42 students agreed they were satisfied with this course being done online. This figure shows results on shifting class from face-to-face to online experience among the students. 57% students preferred the course to be taught in a hybrid of face-to-face and classroom. About 88% students considered flexibility of class time to be the benefit of taking an online class. Approximately 74% students considered interaction with instructor was not as good as in classroom to be the disadvantage of taking an online course. From the open-ended answers, some themes were identified, including conducive environment, internet connectivity, benefits of distant or online learning, and lecturers' efforts. Another new theme emerged is emotional well-being. The keywords found such as I don't have enough spirit, I am scared, I'm not sure, I feel guilty, just to mention few, indicates that students have experienced emotional instability during the pandemic. This theme is in line with the opinion of a psychologist that the impact of the pandemic has caused major disruption in our daily routines, as during the lockdown, we are unable to socialize with our family members, friends, and colleagues like we normally do. Another point appears is the use of sad emoticons. For example, the symbol of this emoticon by the student in their answers to share what they feel. Emoticons are commonly referred as emoji, is a symbol or representations of facial expressions and conveys an emotion. It seems that the pandemic has impacted the student not only in the ways of learning, but also their emotional well-being. This study has its own limitations and propose recommendations for future study. This cross-sectional study was done at one public university in Malaysia. So this limits the result quality of being generalized. Future study can be carried out in other public or private universities, so generalizations can be concluded. While this study focuses on students attending a face-to-face class, future study may look at courses with online features or laboratories activities or a combination of them. Next, this study recruited undergraduate students as the respondents, so the demographic component are very restricted to graduating students. It is interesting to explore the demographic of postgraduate students, as this cohort has different kinds of commitments and priority. The last limitations in this study is the type of the crisis, COVID-19 pandemic. It is strongly suggested that future study can investigate how other crises can impact the students' learning experiences and their emotional well-being. For the conclusion, in a nutshell, this study aims to understand the student learning experiences as having the course shifted from a traditional face-to-face class to distant learning during the COVID-19 crisis, apparently staying away from campus and at the same time trying their best to learn at home during this pandemic has given rise to the real and unprecedented challenges to the students. Beside the poor internet connection and miserable home environment, which affected the students' emotional well-being, the flexibility of time in completing the assignments and the lecturer tolerance as well as good interaction among peers have helped the student to go through this difficult time. This study offers a contribution to the education corpus where the results provide a baseline reference for educators and other stakeholders to come up with practical and effective solutions so the student could experience learning in conducive environment, particularly during a crisis. This is all references listed as referred in the study. If you have any question or comments, you may contact me at this email address. And thank you for listening.